The U.S. Air Force has acquired a excessive energy laser weapon that may be carried via aircraft in podded shape. The news came today whilst Lockheed Martin disclosed that at least one of the guns, which it developed, has been introduced to the Air Force for check paintings. This effort falls in the wider framework of nonetheless evolving plans to have laser-armed fighter jets that could interact enemy missiles, and likely different goals too. A report these days from Breaking Protection showed that Lockheed Martin introduced its Lance high-energy laser weapon to the air pressure in February this 12 months. On this context, Lance stands for Laser Improvements for Subsequent Era Compact Environments. The recipient for the new weapon is the Air Force Research Laboratory, or AFRL, that's charged with developing and integrating new technology in the air area, and our online world geographical regions. Lockheed Martin is supporting the Air Pressure Research Lab increase and mature high-strength laser weapon systems, which includes the excessive strength laser pictured in this rendering. Credit: Air Force Studies Lab, PRNewsfoto, Lockheed Martin. Tyler Griffin, a Lockheed government, had formerly told newshounds that Lance is the smallest, lightest, excessive electricity laser of its energy magnificence that Lockheed Martin has constructed to this point. Certainly, Griffin introduced that Lance is 1/6 the dimensions of a previous directed power weapon that Lockheed produced for the Army. That earlier laser was part of the sturdy electric-powered laser initiative application and had an output inside the 60 kilowatt class. We don't but know what type of energy Lance can produce, despite the fact that there had been pointers it will in all likelihood be beneath 100 kilowatts. For Lance, Lockheed has been drawing from its previous enjoy in floor-based totally lasers, like this idea for a Destiny Cell tactical automobile armed with a directed electricity weapon. Lockheed Martin, as well as being extensively small and light, Lance has decreased electricity requirements compared to different preceding weapons, a key attention for a fighter-based totally laser, particularly one which can be set up in the confines of a pod. If a success in its protective venture, it's possible that Lance may want to move on to tell the improvement of more offensive-orientated laser guns, inclusive of ones that could have interaction enemy plane and drones at longer tiers than will be the case when targeting a quick-drawing close anti-aircraft missile, whether or not released from the floor or from an enemy aircraft. Lance has been advanced underneath a November 2017 settlement that's part of the Air Force's wider self-defend excessive strength laser Demonstrator, or GUARD, program, something that we have written approximately inside the Beyond Shield is a collaborative effort that brings together Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman. While Lockheed Martin provides the real laser weapon, in the form of Lance, Boeing produces the pod that contains it, and Northrop Grumman is answerable for the beam manipulate system that puts the laser onto its target, after which keeps it there. Kent Timber, appearing director of AFRL's Directed Power Directorate, advised Breaking Defense that the numerous protect subsystems constitute the maximum compact and successful laser weapon technologies delivered to this point. Timber's declaration also indicated that real check paintings via AFRL is still at an early level, referring to challenge software analyses and wargaming studies, which might be being undertaken currently. Particular objectives for future assessments and demonstrations will be determined by means of the results of those researches nicely, he stated. In the meantime, Lockheed's Tyler Griffin introduced that the next stage within the software would see Lance included with a thermal machine to manipulate heating and cooling. At his level, we don't know exactly what plane Lance is intended to equip, as soon as it progresses to flight checks and, with any luck, airborne firing trials. But, Griffin stated that, a variety of capacity packages and structures are being considered for potential demonstrations and assessments. Preceding Lockheed Martin concept art has proven the pod carried with the aid of an F-16 fighter jet. And, at the same time as Guard is first of all involved with proving the capacity for active defense of fighter jets in excessive threat environments, officers have additionally talked of the opportunity of adapting the same technology for large, slower shifting fight and fight guideplane, too. Boeing flew a pre-prototype pod shape, without its internal subsystems, aboard an air-pressure F-15 fighter in 2019. Throughout ground tests, in the meantime, a representative laser, called the Demonstrator Laser Weapon Gadget, DLWS, has already efficiently shot down multiple air-released missiles over White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico, additionally in 2019. A selection at the initial check platform for the entire Protect machine will likely follow once a flight demonstration has been funded. That's presently now not the case. Similarly, there is not yet a proper transition plan for Away Lance and Protect ought to evolve into an real software of file. As it stands, the timeline for all this paintings is likewise uncertain, AFRL having instructed breaking protection it turned into but to make any decisions on when airborne trials would possibly happen. Back in overdue 2017, AFRL stated it deliberate to check a laser on a tactical fighter jet through 2021. Then, in 2020, Lockheed Martin stated it changed into making plans to have one among its lasers flying on tactical combatants through 2025. But, the Air Force has run into a few problems with those technology, with the provider announcing ultimate 12 months that it had pushed back the timetable for beginning flight testing of a podded laser weapon by using years to 2023. That put-off become attributed each to technical difficulties and work slowdowns related to the COVID-19 pandemic. In February closing 12 months, AFRL announced that it became approximately to take shipping of the Boeing pod for Defend and that it hoped to get the final additives together with Lance by July 2021. The cause for the put-off this time isn't always clean. Despite the fact that, in the beyond, AFRL has described the technical demanding situations involved in getting a directed energy laser to down a opposed supersonic missile as splendid. Participants of the SHIELD application and their Boeing contractor team inspect the newly arrived Defend pod in February 2021. Boeing. Inside the meantime, air pressure pilots have already been flying simulated missions with podded airborne laser guns in a virtual reality battlefield environment. You may read extra approximately that wargame here, that is a part of the provider's broader efforts to develop digital testing environments to be used in weapon systems development. Protect is meant primarily to illustrate the ability of a podded laser protection system, suggesting an idea that would sooner or later turn out to be a precious adjunct to expendable countermeasures, which include infrared flares or chaff, or electronic battle structures. There are dangers to laser protection structures, too, however, inclusive of a loss of resilience to atmospheric conditions, that could have a negative effect on the range and strength of the directed power beam. Then there's the ability of a laser to simplest engage a unmarried goal at a time, meaning that it would in all likelihood complement as opposed to replace existing decoys in different countermeasures as soon as in service. The reality of what laser weapons can bring to the Destiny battlespace of the Destiny is something we have tested in intensity inside the past. Idea. Art from Lockheed Martin showing a mature high-electricity laser weapon arming a sixth technology fighter jet. Lockheed Martin. Ultimately, however, a completely mature excessive energy laser. weapon may want to really be used for an expansion of roles beyond the protection of aircraft towards missiles. Potentially, it could turn out to be an offensive weapon, too, attractive adverse plane during inside visual variety airfight, swatting down cruise missiles, or even attacking goals at the ground. Whilst it's no longer clean to what degree beyond issues with the underlying technology were resolved, the shipping of Lance earlier this 12 months is virtually a first-rate milestone towards realizing a functional fighter primarily based laser weapon.